and welcome to Kingdom Inspiration News. I'm your host, Gwen Goolsby Tillery, and this is a portion of Kingdom Inspiration News where we get to highlight someone who is doing something wonderful in the community. So this is our spotlight section for this week, and this week I have the honor of having on Miss Tillery Brinston. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
Great. So, Terry, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, I live in Michigan. I'm a registered nurse. I'm also a high school teacher and an entrepreneur. I'm married. I have two young children. Well, actually, they're young adults. I've been married for over 30 years, and I am just in an amazing part of my life. I'm loving what I'm doing right now and loving working with young people. So that's a little bit about me in Michigan.
Wow. Okay. Over 30 years of marriage. Congratulations on that. That is not easy. I just celebrated 20. I know it's a lot of work. And, even in the 20th year, it's still a lot of work. It's something that you never stop working at. So congratulations on that. And also, the fact that you work with children, that is something that I did for many years, was definitely passionate about being able to pour into our youth and our adolescents. So congratulations and thank you for that, because, it's not an easy job. But for most of the teachers that I know, it's a job that they absolutely love and are passionate about doing. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. You are an author, you're an entrepreneur, you're a nurse, you're a teacher. You also have a nonprofit organization, if I'm not mistaken. You have a lot going on. So this interview can go in so many different directions. But let's start with your nonprofit. You just recently put on a conference, and it was titled Help for Childhood Barriers. Tell us a little bit about that, how that all came about.
Right. So just thank you again for allowing me to be on your show. My conference was just amazing. I've been working in education for over 25 years. And what I found that a lot of times my students struggle with receiving the content because they had all of this garbage, all of these barriers that was really preventing them from recognizing that they could do it, for one, and for being successful. I struggled myself with barriers as a high school student. I had a learning disability. And so very much I can connect to what my students were going through. And so, but I recognize also by teaching that I can't solve all the problems. Our kids are dealing with incarcerated family members, learning disability, medical issues. And so I recognize that as an educator, as a nurse, as someone who is passionate about teaching kids, I still can't solve all their problems. And so the conference that we put on was a way for me to tap into all of the amazing resources that are already there, and to help to bridge that gap between the students who need the resources and the resources that are out there, and kind of connecting them with the parents so that they know that there's resources, there's help out there. So our conference, we invited speakers and service providers and counselors, and I was just so humbled at all the support that we got from the participants who participated in our conference. They just poured into our family, and so that was a way I got a lot of parents were able to get the answers that they have been waiting for. And so that was the motivation behind the conference. And I think we did a really good job with really connecting with the parents and connecting them with resources that to support them to help their children with the barriers that they're dealing with.
That's it. Excellent idea, excellent concept, because I do understand that in order for us to really be able to reach particularly our teenagers at this point, it really has to involve a holistic approach.
Right.
You know, it's more than just the parent. It's more than the teacher, the guidance counselor. You know, that expression about it takes a village. It really does take a village. And
Mhm.
so the concept to be able to bring all of these people into one place to present to those who, whether they're parents, grandparents, or
Mhm.
just service people that deal with children, was an awesome concept. I got to witness a little bit of it, and it was really a great conference. Will you be doing it again?
Yeah, yeah, we're going to be doing it annually. We've actually gotten so many different requests from counselors and teachers and ministers for us to put on some mini series. So we're thinking about kind of, making doing some sessions that are very targeted, maybe to mental health or learning disabilities or behavior issues. And so that is something in the works. But specifically for this conference, we're going to be doing it annually. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Great. That's wonderful. And at the end, I'm going to give you the opportunity to be able to share your information. So if people want to learn more about that, they'll be able to connect with you. So
Absolutely.
awesome. Yes. Great, great, great. We so need that, you know, no matter where you are within the United States, even outside of the United States,
Yeah.
you know, our youth just deal with so much now. And so we really need to kind of come together to provide the resources and the support, not only to the youth, but also to the parents as well. So again, thank you. An amazing job on that.
Thank
So
you.
you do have something that is coming up though, something about a family educational series.
Yes, I've had an opportunity to work with the Amazing Parent Network, and they contacted me actually very soon after we did the Help for the Childhood Barriers. And I'm doing a weekly session for them. It's called Help for Adult Childhood Blues. So, like, we have a lot of parents now, especially now after the pandemic. We had young people that were failure to thrive for good reason because they were graduating from high school and really struggling with trying to figure out, okay, what do I do next? Very fearful. And so some of those developmental milestones they didn't conquer because of what was going on in our world. So what we are doing is this particular session, I'm working with the Amazing Parent Network. They're doing it's called a family series, and they have a variety of different speakers that are talking about specific topics. But I am talking to that parent who wants to help their adult child to thrive and just really, sometimes it just doesn't take a lot to understand what you need to do in order to help your young person. And so I'm coming alongside these parents and helping them and encouraging them that they can make a difference in their young adult's life by being a little bit more aware of certain things. And so the series, I'm talking about different ways to track their developmental milestones. How do you know what areas to focus on? And just a variety of things. I'm so excited. It's a 6-week conference that I have an opportunity to speak to parents about how they can help their adult child to thrive. And it's called Help for Your Adult Childhood Blues.
Now, is this something that's going to be open to the public, or is it just a select few people?
It actually is a free conference, and so it's an amazing conference. It's free for everyone. I'll give you some information so that you can share with your guests. But it's virtual, and you can just log in and attend the conference and participate and receive the free gifts that we're offering. So it's an amazing opportunity for our parents, and it's being broadcast internationally. So I had that opportunity to be an international speaker. So I'm excited to be a part of this new network, this program that they're doing.
So actually share the information now.
hmm Let me get that out there to you. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. And if you're a parent, if you could just kind of share this information. Like I said, my presentation is on Wednesdays at 5 o'clock. It's about 35 minutes. And just some amazing, I have an opportunity to really share my passion.
That's good. And once again, the concept of being able to bring together the experts for parents so that they can provide the help and the resources to their children that need to be provided. You mentioned, COVID, the last, now we're going into almost 3 years, have been particularly difficult, for parents, not just for parents of teenage children, but parents across the board, not just older children, many children because of COVID, people lost their jobs, people got sick, may have had to return back home. So parents are kind of, in some cases, kind of at their wits' end, like, what am I supposed to do? You want to help your children, but sometimes you just don't know what's needed to be able to do that. So this sounds like a wonderful organization and opportunity for people to be able to come on and give specific tools and practices and resources to be able to help them.
Yeah, I'm definitely so proud of just the doors that are opening that allow me to really expand my village. Because as I work with young people and I work with families, I always get all of these different questions of how do I help my son or daughter with these things? And of course, I know my area of expertise through my nurturing, through my nonprofit. I work with parents and I work with young people to help them to recognize that there is an answer. I help them to dream again. I deal with those self-limiting beliefs and I help them to recognize that they're ready to move forward. But then when you get them all ready, it's like, okay, I need some counseling. I need some information about mentoring. I need this and I need that. And it's like, I don't want to just leave them. And so this is why I have to build my village, because I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn them over to someone that I trust, that I've had an opportunity to vet. And then I stay in their life to say, okay, how are we doing? And so that's why I love what I do, because it definitely takes on that village mentality. And as I have the opportunity to extend and expand my network and get to know people like yourself and other people who are doing amazing things, I turn around and I introduce them to the parents and the families that I work with.
That's good. So were you able to locate the information?
Yeah, I put it in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I also want you to say it as well.
Okay.
Are you able to?
Yeah, the name of it's called the Family Education Series, and it's the role model maker. And there's a specific chat. There's a specific link that's connected to for me, so that people understand, can connect and go to my particular session. And so
Okay.
the link is in the chat. It's called the like I said, the role model maker, and it's pretty long, but it's a role model maker,
Okay.
the educational series. Yeah.
What I will try to do is I will try to make sure that I add it to the broadcast so that people will be able to connect. That's what I will do to
Okay.
make sure that they get it. I will add it to the broadcast.
All right.
So the conference that you did, now this experience,
right.
and now recently as well, you just released, you're a part of an anthology, which is entitled Live Your Faith Out Loud, and it's volume 2. And so this is an anthology that was released, was it early this week or the end of last week?
Actually, last week, the end of last week. I am so excited to be a part of this anthology project. When you say just some amazing individuals that I had the opportunity to collaborate with on this project, one of the things that I don't know, I'm recovering from COVID. And so I wrote a book, Grateful for the Journey, Surviving COVID-19. And so through my experience, I really got connected to my spirituality and became so very grateful that all of these people who didn't make it through COVID, and God allowed me to survive. And I was really struggling with why. It's like, okay, God,
Mm.
what is it that you all have for me? And then Dorothy Wilson, which is the visionary behind this project, she reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to be a part of this anthology. And I was like, how appropriate. I'm so ready, because of my struggles with COVID. I was so ready to be able to non-apologetically share my faith with people. And so what a wonderful opportunity for me to be a part of this project. And so I was able to submit a chapter for this particular book. And my chapter is I Trust You, Lord. And so
Mm.
just an amazing opportunity for me to come alongside these amazing women and men, read their chapters. You just got to get the book. It is just, chapter after chapter of encouragement, of support. And it was just so timely for me to have this opportunity to be a part of this project.
So if someone is interested in the book, well, before I get to that, so you just told us a little bit about your story. Tell us about some of the other stories that someone can look forward to in the book.
Oh man, there's so many different stories. I don't want to give them away too much, but I would encourage people, if you are struggling with your faith, struggling with connecting to the fact that your struggle has purpose. And that's what I'm found from reading the book, is that regardless of how far you feel that you have gone in your pit, there's a purpose for it. And so these women and men that had an opportunity to submit their chapters, they really did an excellent job expressing how, overcoming, when you go through certain things, you feel, your question is, why me? Right. And so
Yes, it is.
through these struggles and through these stories, you'll say, oh, that's why it was you. This is why I had to go through that. I know, me personally, I had the opportunity to really connect with the fact that God really orchestrated every aspect of my life. All of the the trials and the tribulation, they all had a purpose. And I think through this book, our readers will connect with that. People go through different things, and we struggle through different things for a purpose. And it's God definitely gets the glory. And so definitely a must read. The book is an Amazon bestseller, so that you can get the book on Amazon. And this, like I said, this is volume 2. Had the pleasure of being a part of volume 2. There was another. The previous volume was really well done as well. Dorothy Wilson just is an amazing woman, and she just is so anointed with bringing just some amazing people together. I know I keep saying amazing, but having so many people together, that has it's just a great book. So I encourage people to really patronize and get this book. It's a great read. I'm going to be doing something like a book study soon, getting Christians together, Christian women or men together, and we're going to go through this book so I can encourage them to find opportunities to live their faith out loud and show them how to do that. So I'm looking forward to that. So we'll talk about that another time.
Great. And again, the title of the book is Live Your Faith Out Loud, Volume 2. Before we end, you said you've been married 30 plus years. So you've talked about a lot, but so many marriages struggle nowadays. So I actually want you to end on the note of, one, giving some advice on, what you've learned in these 30 plus years. What would you share as it relates to marriage? And then share how people can connect with you on social media, your website, or however you would like for them to contact you.
Right. Well, marriage. One of the things that I think I would like to share with your audience as it pertains to marriage is, as a woman, know your power. One of the things that I recognize later on in my marriage is that I have the power to lift my husband up or tear my husband down.
Mm.
And knowing that when I lift my husband up, he feels powerful and supported and confident, and he in turns lift me up. And I think that that was something that through definitely through trial and error. Marriage is hard. It was a lot of hard work. But when I released and allowed him to be the head of my house, and I lifted him up and supported him to be the man that he needed to be, then our relationship turned around. Our, just the way that we deal with our children turned around. And so knowing my power, and women, knowing your power, that you have the power to, lift your husband up and not tear him down, and always give him the opportunity to be that man and that head of that house, it definitely will make a major impact in your marriage. So that's what the advice I would like to give.
Great advice. I think that's great advice. So how can people find you, reach you, talk to you?
The easiest way, I have several, different websites for my nonprofit, the Nurturing Wellness Group Foundation.org. That's my nonprofit. You can also look at my website, which is terrybrinston.com. I think those are the easiest way. Of course, I'm on Facebook, Terry Brinston. So Google me, Terry Brinston. I come up. And so I would love to hear from you. I work with, like I said, young people, high school students, and also young adults and parents. I love empowering our parents and our young people to reach their full potential. So that's the best way to reach out to me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. You gave just good information.
Mm-hmm.
And please, if you're that parent struggling, go check her out. Get the help that you need. There is help out there. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to struggle alone. Go get the help that you need. So once again, Terry, I thank you for coming on, and just continued blessings to you.
Thank you so much for having me, Gwen. I appreciate it. God bless you guys.
Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome back to Kingdom Inspiration News. This is the portion of our show where we get to highlight someone who is doing some positive things within the entertainment realm of the gospel world. And so today I have the pleasure of having on Christopher Sims. I listen to his music. I love his sound. It's a different sound, more upbeat, very modern, but you can tell when you listen to it that it's authentic and it's real. And so welcome to the show, Christopher.
Thank you, Ms. Gwen, for having me on Kingdom Inspiration News.
You are quite welcome. I always ask, at the beginning before we start the interview, how you want to be addressed. And he was like, oh, just say Christopher Sims. But I do have to say it is actually Pastor Christopher Sims. I have to put that out there. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, man, I'm a Bronx kid, born and raised in the Bronx. I'm currently residing in Connecticut. I'm a pastor's kid. My father pastored the church in Harlem, and it's kind of there where I got my musical journey. And so it's been a ride. 7-time heart attack survivor, father of 4. Like, I see your face was going like, how you gonna skip over that? Like,
but we're gonna get back to that. We're gonna, because see, you nowhere in any of the questions that I asked or that pre-interview did you mention that. So that we're gonna have to take at least a minute or two to talk about that. But before we get to that, so you grew up in a church. Your father pastored a church in Harlem for over 30 years. So you come with this experience and knowledge of those, probably those old hymns and that
Yes.
soul stirring gospel music, correct?
Correct. And all of those things. My father was a big lover of like Canton spirituals and like all those guys. And I love sitting down with him and and watching those videos and those performances. And so, and like I said, I got my start in music in the church, and started playing the drums in church. And then my sister pulled me off the drums one day, passed me a microphone, and said, "You're gonna sing this song." And that's how I got my start with singing. And that's how I kind of knew that singing was something that was in me. That's something that God put in me. And so, and from there, my cousins and we started an all-male group called Sons of God. And it was in that group that I discovered writing original music. And so it all started to come together, and all started in church. And I'm still in the church, very much a part of the church, very active in my local church. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So so your sister pulls you in, you start singing. So there are a lot of people that sing in church but don't go beyond that to actually launching into becoming a gospel artist.
Right.
So what was it about singing, or the whole entertainment music realm that kind of drew you in?
You know what it was for me? I grew up as a quiet kid. I was an observant kid, so I lacked the skills to articulate my thoughts and feelings, and I found that ability to do that through music and through writing music. And and my cousin Christian Rose, who was a part of the all male group, he was the very first person to inspire me, because he put out he came out with his own CD, and it just blew my mind. I was like, wait, this is possible. Like it was never something that I thought that it could happen to me, that I could be an artist. I felt like it was something that was too big for me. And then when he did it, he showed me that it is possible. And so I just continued on to that journey. After I realized that, it was just like no stopping me. It's like I knew that this is something that God wanted me to do, that he had given me a message to release to the world. And it really has become that. I just want to release the message that God has given to me. I always tell people I want to die empty. There's so much that God put in all of us. And one of my mentors said, the grave is full of unfulfilled dreams. And so I want to die empty. I want to release every song. I want to release every book. I want to release every sermon. I don't want to keep anything in me. I want to release it all to the earth. And so even if it's just one person, my very first single was titled "Lord, I Need You." And every time I listen to the song, I'm so disappointed in myself, because I'm like, it's not finished. But when I was working on the song, I heard God tell me to release it now, even though I felt it wasn't finished. And when I released the song, a couple of months later, someone reached out to me to say that they were contemplating suicide, but they heard the song, and the song convinced them to not commit suicide. And God reminded me that he would have someone write a song for the one. That's how much he loves us.
I love that. That's interesting you bring that up, because the interview which was shown earlier, I had a young lady on who actually, this is September, so September is Suicide Awareness Month, and she actually spoke about committing suicide. And
Wow.
so the fact that you're saying this, and I talked about how it is so prevalent, and the thought and the idea is probably way more than what we think. And so you say that again, so it's confirmation. But I do, and I kind of said that, said, God will go above and beyond for the one.
Yes.
He will use somebody and take them in this direction to impact just one person. You know, that's the kind of God that we serve. And so I love that, just the one, for just the one. And then I love what you said about emptying. And that's my prayer. When I stand before you, God, I don't want to have anything left in me that was supposed to be given to the world.
Right.
I want to be empty. I want to be freed of all of that. I
Right.
want to walk in everything it is that
Yep.
you have for me. So I definitely can relate to that and understand that.
Yes.
So before we move on about your music, let's look, put a little comedy and let's pause a little bit and talk about this heart attack. What number did you throw out there?
7 heart attacks.
7 heart attacks.
Yes.
Please
Yes.
explain.
So I was working as a pest control technician, and I was out in the field, you know, and it was just a normal day. And all of a sudden, I started feeling really heavy, sweating a lot. You know, there were no other symptoms. I wasn't feeling any pain, and I just felt so weak. And I said, okay, let me take a break. Let me go on lunch break and go sit in my service vehicle. I sat in my service vehicle, and originally I thought I had fallen asleep, but then I realized I had actually passed out. And so when I came to, I said, okay, something is wrong. Let me go home. So I left work early. I went home and I told my wife, I said, I'm not feeling well. Something is wrong. And I laid down on the floor in the kitchen and I passed out again. Later on that evening, we had some friends come over, and everybody's sitting in chairs. I'm the only one sitting on the floor because that's when the pain starts. And so it's like every movement that I made, the pain would intensify. And so this was a Friday, this all started, that I started noticing something was wrong. I did not get to the hospital until Sunday. By the time I got to the hospital, I couldn't even walk anymore. My wife was 9 months pregnant with our third child. And I got to the hospital steps and I laid down on the hospital steps floor. My wife, 9 months pregnant, runs to go get help. She comes back with a security guard. He lifts me up, puts me in the wheelchair, rolls me into the hospital, rolls me into the ER. And they look at me and they said, Mr. Sims, you've been having a heart attack for several days. They said the 3 major arteries to your heart have blockages. One has a bunch of different blockages. One is 60% blocked, and the other one is 100% blocked. They said it seems to be a hereditary disease in your family, and the blockages are too close to your heart for us to do anything, because anything we do will damage your heart.
Wow.
It was at that moment when we began to pray, because that's really all. That's pretty much after the doctor tell you there's nothing we can do. You rely on the one who can do anything, right? And so we began to pray, and we had family, friends, pastors, and leaders praying for me. And this was in 2013 that the first heart attack occurred, you know, and I had 6 more after that. But every one that I had, I was confident I was going to make it out. I was confident. There was something about something about the presence of God that was surrounding me that let me know that he's not done with me yet. And there was even one time when I had become unresponsive in the hospital, and the nurse was yelling at me while I'm unresponsive. I could hear her yelling at me. She said, Mr. Sims, it is not your time. God is not done with you yet.
Wow.
And I'm grateful that, you know, that after all of that, you know, I believe part of that was God trying to get my attention. I believe part of that was God, because I was running. I'll just say it. I was running from what God wanted me to do. And, you know, being a pastor, you know, being in music, these things are scary things, you know. these are big, huge responsibilities. That's how I see it anyway. I don't see it as a prestigious thing, as something that, I pat myself on the back for doing. I'm proud of the work that I'm able to do that God gives me. But I see it as a huge responsibility. Um, and, and I just want to fulfill the call and the purpose that God has in my life. And like we said, I want to die empty. I want to make sure that whoever needs to hear whatever message that God has given to me, that they hear it, because we don't know what kind of encouragement that person may need. Yeah,
Absolutely. How long ago was that?
this was the first one occurred in 2013.
Okay. So almost 10 years, and
Yeah.
you look relatively healthy. You're here,
Yeah.
yes, praise God. Wow. What an amazing testimony. I wish I could kind of stay in that, because that right there is really, that God, nobody but God was in
Amen.
the midst of that situation.
Amen.
So I have a video that I'm going to share. Tell us a little bit about that song and the inspiration for that song.
The song is titled "Desperately Waiting," and this song originally started out as a worship song. And in my opinion, it still is a worship song. It doesn't sound anything like what you would anticipate a worship song would sound like. But this song started out with I'm a worship leader as well. So, the song started out as a prayer. There's this moment before I go up to lead worship, and I'm praying. I'm telling God, I'm about to go up and I'm about to lead worship, but there's nothing I can offer these people that's going to change or alter their life in any way, shape, or form. Anything that's going to change their life or alter their life is going to come from you, God. So we will wait for you, because we don't want to have church and not have change.
Ooh.
So God, we will wait for you to come. Until you come, then we're desperately waiting for you. And so that's where it starts. That's what the song started for me. And it kind of blew up to something more. And as people heard the song, people were sharing their testimonies with me, and they were saying, listen, I've been desperately waiting for financial breakthrough. I've been desperately waiting for healing in my life. I've been desperately waiting for my marriage to be whole. I've been people just been sharing their testimonies about how the song has been ministering to them. And I love that. I love when people are able to take a song that I've written, and they can apply it to their lives individually, because it means so much more that way. So yeah.
Yes. And I listened to it, and like I said, I absolutely loved it. From, I can kind of tell from with the first 15 to 30 seconds whether or not I'm going to really like a song. And immediately I was like, it wasn't what I expected at all. It wasn't what I expected, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Great song. So let's take a listen to that.
I've been waiting for a change to come. I've been praying, when will this pain be gone? I have tried way too hard, and I cried way too long for me to just stop here and die here. Yes, I've been hungry, feeling incomplete. Spirit is willing, but all the flesh is weak. Whether my mind is fast or slow, whether I'm mad it, I don't know. I'm at the crossroads of my life. There is no one like you do. You know my faults and know my secrets too. There is no one I need to feel you. Yeah, 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 yeah. Heart is still racing, patiently pacing. Cause when you are near, I can see clear, no longer fear. Yes, you are here. Yeah. There is no one like you do. You know my faults and know my secrets too. There is no one love me like you do. When I'm in trouble, you come to rescue. So desperately waiting on you, on you. 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 Desperately waiting.
Never let me down before. You're like the first time elevator operator. Never let me down before. And yeah, I seen the ground before, but I got back up like cops. Roger that. 10-4. Psalms 10 verse 4. The wicked are too proud to seek God. So a wise man know that he really need God. Look to the hills, you can see God. Without your love, I don't know where I would be, God. Oh, I need a brighter day. Take the clouds away, take the rain away, take the pain away. You're the shepherd from the Psalms. Lay me in Travis green pastures, and I'ma sing you made a way. Until then, I just patiently wait. Steadfast, never waving in faith. Like when the doctor is busy, you just patiently wait. Good doctor, my patience is great.
Desperately waiting on you, on you. 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 Desperately waiting.
So again, you got to witness, you got to hear it. Amazing, amazing, amazing song. So Chris, tell us how people can find you, reach you if they want the song. Give us all that information.
Well, you can find me. Well, my email address is csims2001@gmail.com. My website is christophersims.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that at Conversations with Chris, or Conversations with Chris, WIT, no H, with Chris. Yeah, so that's how you can find me. You can find all my music on all digital platforms. Wherever you purchase or stream your music, my music will be there. Yes, and I appreciate you guys' support, and I appreciate you, Miss Gwen. I appreciate you.
Thank you. It was definitely my pleasure. Like I said, we kind of connected by chance, but I don't really believe much in chance. I feel like God is always up to something. We might not know the ins and the outs of it and all the details of it. But, you know, first of all, we had to connect because we both from the Bronx. I don't know if you all know, but I am from the Boogie Down Bronx. That's right, the Bronx. So instant connection there with being able to say, yeah, you know, wait, what do you mean you're from the Bronx? So it was truly a pleasure to be able to connect with you. Listen, I'm probably going to be calling you back on because I really, really want to. This story of the 7 heart attacks is just amazing to me. So I really will probably be reaching out to bring you on again for you to be able to share more of your testimony, because I know it's so much deeper than what you were able to just share with us. So I will be inviting you back on. But until then, he has given you his social media. Go reach out to him. Go on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your music, get his music. And Christopher, again, I thank you. Any advice, any inspiration you want to give to anyone that might be listening before we end out?
Oh, man. Ooh. During the pandemic, God had given me this word. And at the time, I didn't really know what it meant. But the word he gave me was, "This won't kill you." And It came from the scripture where Jesus told his disciples to get into the boat and go to the other side. And I was conflicted because the issue that I had was the disciples were actively obeying what Jesus told them to do. And in the midst of them actively doing what he told them to do, they were hit with a storm. One of the words that we love to use interchangeably with the word storms, especially in the church circle, is trouble. So, God, I'm doing what you told me to do, but here come all of this trouble. What in the world is all of that about? And he reminded me, he said, this is not to kill you, but this is to prepare you. And what is it to prepare you for? It's to prepare you for what is on the other side. If you remember the end of the scripture, when the disciples reached the other side, right? They were met with that crazy man that was living in the graveyard, right? That Jesus was able to heal and set free. Sometimes what's the storm that we're going through, it's not even about us. It's about who or what is on the other side. And whatever the storm itself is, we oftentimes misunderstand the storm. We think the storm is there to kill us, but it's really there to prepare us. And it's a few things, and I'll try to be quick, that I had to learn. That the storm is a temporary but necessary inconvenience that is designed to not to kill us, but to if we overreact, right? The storm can't kill you, but how you behave in the storm, that can kill you. Because what happens sometimes, what people do in the midst of the storm is that they jump overboard and wind up drowning themselves. So the thing that's there to prepare them, they wound up allowing it to kill them when it's just there to prepare you.
That's so good. I mean, as you said that, I thought about, something in my own personal life, and you almost used the exact same words. Well, I'm obeying you. Why this now? But you are absolutely right. It was meant to prepare. So again, thank you so much. Thank you for being on. Again, make sure you go and you check him out and be blessed. Many blessings to you and everything that you're going to be doing and already doing.
You're watching Gwen with Kingdom Purpose TV. And you're watching Gwen with Kingdom News.
Hello and welcome to the entertainment portion of Kingdom Inspiration News. So this week, September 12th, was the 74th Emmy Awards. Now, I'll tell you the truth, I don't really watch a lot of TV, but of course, it was such great news that took place that it was all over the news. So we have to give props to Cheryl Lee Ralph for her win this year at the Emmys. So she won for Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series for her role in Abbott Elementary. So here's the exciting thing about it. The exciting thing about it is that she is 65 years old. She's been in the business for well over 30 years. And this year, she gets an Emmy. So this is bigger than the entertainment news. This speaks to some other things that I just want to talk to you about. First of all, she had to remain faithful in what it is that she believed that she was supposed to do. 30 plus years in, and she's just getting recognized, but she remained faithful. There's a lesson in that for us. The other thing in that is that we can learn from that is God has his timing for everything. You know, she may have been thinking, you know, I'm never going to get this Emmy, or I'm never going to get any kind of recognition for what I've done for the last 35 years plus. But how about I tell you, God can show up and change that thing in an instant. But the only way that he can do that is if you remain faithful. So let's take a lesson from this and recognize that no matter how things look, if whatever it is that God is telling us to do or giving us to do, remain faithful in it. You know, don't give up when things don't look like they're going right. If you truly believe that this is what you're supposed to do, again, remain faithful. Don't quit. Don't give in. Keep working, because ultimately you will get the harvest. You will reap what you have sown, and your hard work will pay off. So again, congratulations to Shirley Ralph. What makes it so special is that she is only the second African-American woman to receive this honor after Jackie Harry. And I think that was approximately, 35 years ago. So congratulations to her again. Congratulations for staying committed to what it is that you believe that you were called to do. And then also I want to congratulate Kinta Brunson. Now, opposite ends of the spectrum. She's 32 years young, okay? But even at 32 years young, I'm sure she has remained dedicated and faithful to the craft of writing. And so she had the opportunity to be nominated and to win for Best Writing in a Comedy Series. So congratulations to her. And what's the lesson in that for young folk? You know what? When it's your time, it's your time. It doesn't matter how old you are. Just stay committed to what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And at any time, your big break can change. Your big break can come. The situation can change, and the situation can turn around for your good. So that's really why I wanted to share these two stories, is because it really is inspiration to us in what it is that we're doing. We might not be writers, we might not be actors or actresses, but there's something that we're passionate about doing. There's something that God has given to each one of us. And so we just need to remain faithful to it. We need to just ignore the naysayers and all the doubters, and not allow, the little things that come up, the trials, the tribulations, the stumbling blocks, to stop us from doing what it is that we're supposed to be doing. So stay committed, stay faithful. You might not get an Emmy, you might not get a Grammy, but you know what? God will be pleased if you remain committed. So that's our entertainment news for this week. Again, I congratulate both of those winners, as well as all the winners of the 74th Emmy Awards. So that's our news. See you next week with more entertainment news on Kingdom Inspiration News.